Let's hop into the next topic, which is all about management. How do you use a property manager? Should you have one in general? And are there subtypes of property managers that you need to bring in? So let me ask you this, Tyler. Should I manage units myself? What's the risk in managing units by yourself? And what's the time component that comes into that?
Yeah, there's definitely more liability on the hook if you self-manage. Let's be honest. If something bad happens on the weekend, if those pipes freeze in the middle of winter, guess who they're going to be calling on that freezing cold winter Saturday morning? Yeah. You bet they're going to be calling you. So just keep in mind that at the end of the day, it's about who's on the hook for problems. And we all know properties do have problems. We love them because of the wealth they can generate, but we kind of hate them because year to year, day to day, they have a lot of problems. So my recommendation is if you have disposable time, or if your time is not worth that much yet, to be honest, it probably is worth self-managing. That's going to cut your teeth and get you a lot of experience on how do I lease a property using Zillow or other tools? How do I collect rent? How do I get contractors and handyman to help me? How do I go fix stuff myself? That's invaluable education. However, if you're making a crap ton of money in your W-2 job or you're an entrepreneur and you don't have time, hire a property manager. It is not worth your time getting on those calls with tenants, chasing down those $900 rent checks. I promise you that's not worth your time. Hire a well-seasoned property manager. So that's what I would say to that.
Yeah, our mentor hits often on like the guy with the one short-term rental that is renting it out for all this money is the guy that's like, short-term rentals are amazing. But then you go and you talk to him when he has 10 units and he's like, this sucks. Why do I ever own this? I want them all to be long-term and I don't ever want to talk to another human again. Like it's all fun and games when it's a small level and base. So I think if you're just going for your first base hit property, sure, save the 10%. Sounds great. But when you start to scale and get to that larger capacity, your time back, buying your time back with that 10%, which realistically, like if you have 10, 15 properties, you're probably only going to be paying 8% because most property managers will get you a discount for bringing them a ton of properties. And then it's easy because you're just streamlining to one human. What about what do you say to the 3 a.m. plunger comments when it comes to management? Like I know that we both have self-managed and I can personally say I've never plunged a toilet at 3 a.m.
I never have. I self-manage 5 units right now, and tenant expectation setting is huge. Yeah. First day, I show up to the property and I say, hey, if it's 4 a.m. on a week or on a weekend night especially, I'm not going to answer you. I'll get back to you in the morning. I'll get back to you in business hours. If it's an emergency, I'm going to dispatch a maintenance guy. So I'm going to call a maintenance guy on the front and be like, hey, if I need you in emergency situations and I pay you 2 extra hourly rate, are you good to do that? I'll probably say yes. So having preparation, being prepared is going to be critical. Yeah. What about next question here that we have regarding management that I'm super curious for your take. Should I set up a new bank account or mix it in with my personal bank account?
Yeah, separate bank account. Absolutely. There are so many online tools for property management now, right? Where it's 2024, wakeup.com era was forever ago. We have plenty of online resources that are either free or paid. Rent Ready is a really good one. It literally, I think, will come with a separate checking account. You don't want to commingle funds. I mean, back up for a second. The second that you're buying a property, you are buying a business. That is, I don't care if it's in your personal name or an LLC, if it's your past primary residence and you didn't sell it and you bought your new one and you're renting it out, you own a business now. And when you own a business, you don't commingle funds. You don't put any of your personal money with that asset, unless if you have to, right?
It's hard
if you
to know
have
if
to
you're making a profit.
Yeah, you wouldn't.
You're commingling funds. And for taxes, it's much more simple to have that separate.
Right. And that's one of the biggest advantages of having a rental property in general is the tax basis. And if you aren't accounting that and aren't tracking it, which is something that technically a manager can do within that 10%. With a good manager, you should be getting an owner's packet every month that shows you what your expenses were, what your income were. And honestly, if you own like 1 to 5 properties, you could just turn that packet in to your accountant, and that would suffice as a balance sheet for the year. Personally, I maybe would also do some accounting on your own so that you can track and make sure that the manager's not, skimping you in any direction. And that is another added incentive of, again, it comes back to buying your time back. So when I'm setting up that new bank account, got my pre-approval, got my agent, got my whole team built out. I'm on my second to last video of this course. How much money should I leave in a rental bank account when purchasing it? I'm very curious on what your number is, and then I'll share what mine is.
Yeah, absolutely. I would never commingle, so I wouldn't just mix it in with my personal. I would have it separate. I would say per unit, I like at least 10,000. If I have a 4-unit property, it's a bit larger. Maybe I'll make that 15,000. Why? Well, typically you want to cover your highest single line item cost, which is a roof. So if my roof needs replaced, that's going to be between 10 to 12 grand. So I want to have probably about that much in that bank account ready to deploy. Now, chances are you're going to know if your roof's getting old and have some time to prepare, but it's just a good idea to have that in there just in case. I'm curious to hear what you would say.
Yeah, it's a very similar number. I think 10K a unit is wise. I think also being in the realm of like 5% of the purchase price and budgeting for that going into it, saying, okay, I'm ready to take the leap. I want to invest, and having 30% in the bank account for the purchase, putting 20 to 25% down, depending single family or duplex, and having about 5 to 10% remaining in the account because you're going to incur expense. Again, we're buying a business. What would your uncle always say if you wanted to start a business? At least mine would say, you're not going to be profitable in your first year. Nobody in business is profitable in their first year. It's a startup. You're getting going. Have reserves so that when those expenses occur, number one, your wife or husband or partner isn't coming and saying, this new rental property is costing us so much money. Stop depositing money into the rental account. Well, you already budgeted for it. Mm-hmm. The second piece to that is you're not feeling like, man, I made a crap investment in the first 18 months because I'm constantly putting money into this bank account to support my rental. That's something I had to learn the hard way. I literally opened up a bank account with $1,000 with my first rental. And within 2 weeks, I had to give like $8K to the property manager for just expenses that popped up immediately. Because guess what? There was a new owner and there was a tenant. And she said, the last guy didn't do any of these maintenance requests, and had a whole list. And being the new owner, kind of got to take care of the place because I don't ever buy anything that I wouldn't live in.
Mm-hmm. What ongoing maintenance would you say is required for a rental property? You just bought a rental property. Great. You're going to knock out some stuff that was on the inspection report, maybe cosmetically revamp some stuff. But what is ongoing maintenance that you think need to prepare for?
Yeah, I love home ownership. Home ownership is the greatest value position that you can have. It's the greatest asset that you can own. But home ownership comes with a ton of responsibility, right? If you're a tenant, you don't have to replace light bulbs. If you're a tenant, you don't have to worry about it. Does the attic fan work? Is the bathroom fans working? Those things, as a homeowner, you do have to worry about. You have to worry about those maintenance things coming up. And for me, I expect every year to have somebody go out, service the HVAC, make sure that thing's continuing to be healthy. Plumbing, there's always something with plumbing, almost guaranteed. And it's never super expensive. It's like annoying every time. A leaky drain, or the drain doesn't turn off all the way whenever, whatever. I literally had a guy call me for the hot and cold being switched like 6 months into the property. Pretty sure he did it. Like, really, you just called me. It's all the small things that, for me, this is why I have a manager, because I have a threshold set up. Don't call me if it's under, or if it's under $1,000, don't call me, just do it in a month. If he's spending more than $1,000 on that one unit, yeah, give me a call. I know guys with 100 doors with that threshold set at $10K a month across their entire portfolio, like even higher. And it's because you just expect it. That's why when we're running the numbers 17 videos ago, you are putting in the analysis a continued maintenance fee.
Some things to hit for maintenance to be prepared for is, lawn maintenance, landscaping.
Yeah.
Every year that's getting out of whack, you need to have someone or be prepared to get your hands dirty. If it were me, I would hire out a crew. Snow removal, just be prepared for that, or tell the tenant on the front end. Gutter cleaning, those gutters can get clogged up. That can lead to water issues later on. Power washing, restaining a deck or a fence, and repainting when time. Those are kind of some things to have as a back pocket list to moderate and manage with your rental property.
And get ahead of the maintenance requests, really. Is if you're taking care of all those things and making sure the tenant's happy, shouldn't really need to worry about it. Just put yourself, if you're living in an apartment, right?
Yeah.
Like you're going to be taking advantage of the situation and asking for things,
Right.
because you want the property to be nice.
Yeah.
That's why you take care of the inspection items on the front end.
Yeah. If you're like, I want to hire a third-party property manager, I don't want to do this stuff myself, it's not worth my time, I'll pay someone the 10%. Here's some questions you have to ask a property manager that is just too important to skip over. Number one, what is your management fee? 10% is normal in our marketplace. A higher percentage for better quality manager might be worth it, by the way. Do you have a leasing fee? Do you mark up for maintenance, or is it a pass-through fee? What do you mark up? Is there a minimum amount required for a rental account? What is that minimum amount required for their custodial account for managing that rental property? How do you market the property for rent? Is it on Zillow? Is it on Realtor.com? Is it everywhere? Hopefully it's everywhere. What does the termination of the management contract actually look like if things aren't working out? What are your tenant screening practices? I like to see screening for credit, minimum of 640 at least. I like to screen for debt. How much debt do they have? How much income do they make? And I like to screen for no evictions or felonies. Those three are absolutely critical. How do you show the property to prospective tenants? Does someone meet them there, to meet them face to face? I love to see that. What do you look for in a landlord that you like to work with? Are they screening you? If they're not, they may just take anyone and everyone. Is that someone you want to work with? And then lastly, do you put utilities in the tenant's name or in the landlord's name, or do you put the utilities in the management company's name, just to know what's going on with utilities?
The one thing that I love that you hit on was prospective tenants. We're trying to get the thing leased out. How are you actually fulfilling that duty? Is it a stupid rent.com box that never produces a code so nobody can ever get in the dang door? Or is it a physical person? For me, I am only hiring a manager that has physical people to walk them through units. Reason being is they can cross-sell. So say a tenant wants to see 123 Main Street, you're at 223 Main Street, and they don't like something cosmetically at 123 Main Street, and you own 223. They can bring them down to your property and say, look at this thing. This might be better, closer to your rent, whatever the reason is. And that's not happening as somebody scrolling through apartments.com. The other aspect in that realm, and an easy way to know if that actually is happening with a leasing manager, is just ask, hey, how many leasing agents do you have at your company? You don't have to directly ask, or you're going to have somebody walking through, because 99% of the time they're going to tell you yes, because they know it's better, but they might use a third-party company that just takes pictures and posts the listings, and then they post and dump and ghost. It's just like being a real estate agent and showing listings. You're not going to just send somebody into the property. You need to be there to kind of cross-sell. Wrapping up the topic of property managers, it can sometimes be even a hassle to have a property manager. For me, I sometimes have to manage my manager. If there was rent that was supposed to be collected in November and something weird happened where the check didn't get to the property manager. Well, if they have 1,000 doors that they're looking over, they might not remember to go back and track that for months on end. I've had to chase down those types of rent situations and really be on top of my own property and ensure that they are fulfilling their part of the job, and just sending some emails every once in a while. Hey, John Smith, help me out here, X, Y, and Z. Be cautious in what management company and vet them well, and make sure that they are somebody that you can know, like, and trust. The best place to find the best referral for a management company is probably from your agents. BiggerPockets has a ton of management companies on there, but they're a paid service to get on that platform. I probably would go direct to your network to look at the direct referrals to that company.